Hebrews chapter 11, we find the first verse, just one sentence. And as we read this sentence, what I want to help you to do is to use what we call the transitive property. If this is true, then this also must be true. Here's the transitive property, and here's what I want you to hear. Faith is the reality of what we hope for, the proof of what we don't see. Now, by the transitive property of sentences, which I'm kind of making up, we can determine that what is being said here is that faith is the proof of what we don't see. In other words, when people look at us, when people look at me, and when people look at you, what they ought to see is the faith that we have in Jesus Christ. They ought to see that faith lived out, not just talked about. If all I had to do to have the proof of my faith would be to say that I'm a Christian, well, problem solved. But we also have to see evidence of that grace, the grace that we receive by faith. In other words, when we look at other Christians, it ought to be very obvious that they are Christians, not by what they wear or how they talk or where they spend their Sunday mornings, but by how they treat one another, how they care for and love their neighbor as themselves, how they welcome the stranger and care for the sick and the in need. Our faith ought to become incredibly evident. Let's put it this way. If being a person of faith were a crime, make it so that the TV show about you would only take a few minutes to solve. Our faith ought to be evident in the way we care, in the way we love, in the way we talk to others and about others, the way we get creative in our neighboring and our hospitality, the way we reflect the love of God to others in this world. When we do that, I think this sentence makes a lot more sense. Faith is the proof of what we can't see. You and I may not be able to see God in real, human, visible, tangible form, but we can see one another. And when we see one another's faith, we begin to see God. Amen.